Okay, so if it's okay with everybody, I'm going to kick this off, and then I'm going to hand it over to Moon. Obviously, for the folks in the community, feel free to interrupt us, ask questions, add feedback, whatever that you like. This is a very informal meeting. So the reason that we are having meeting is because in the past, as a community, we have not been communicating very frequently, other than when you make commits or contribute to the project. So what I really want to do is start with a monthly meeting where the folks from the community can all get together, whether it's from the dev side or the user side, so that we can make sure that everything is aligned and we can hear from Felix and Moon and Jeff. Unfortunately, can't make it today, but those folks that are contributing and committing quite a lot to the project, that they can share their thoughts on the project and how we're going to move forward as a project. So first of all, any questions so far? Why we're having this meeting, etc. Everybody cool with it? Okay, awesome. So in addition to that, we are also kicking off this thing called thank God it's Zeppelin, so TGIZ Zeppelin, on Fridays. So we're going to do it bi-weekly for now. Every Friday, we're going to pick a technical topic. So have Moon kind of like watch Moon sharing these technical deep dives. For example, this week we have a Zeppelin Kubernetes, like how Kubernetes is orchestrating Zeppelin, etc. So Moon is going to pull out, some of the YAML files and get through how he's setting everything up, as far as whether he's setting up services or he's setting up whether he's setting up deployments, etc. So he's going to be deep diving into technology coming up as well. So I'm hearing a little bit of background sound. So if you don't mind muting yourself if you're not speaking, I really appreciate it. All right, thank you. So that's basically what we have planned for the technical deep dive on Fridays. It's 1 o'clock Pacific time and 4 o'clock Eastern time. And so it's not limited to Moon. Anybody who has anything to share, feel free to reach out, etc. And also, I have created a document as well before we go out and do these things. I just want to share it with the community. Can everybody, let me see if folks can see my screen here. Sorry, folks. So right now, can everybody see this? Give me a thumbs up, Moon, if you can see it. Okay, cool. All right, so we put together a document on kind of the format of what's happening here. So everything's gonna be recorded, it's public, so everybody is welcome to join. It's gonna be about 30 minutes. Sorry, I'm taking so much time here before I pass on to Moon. And the purpose, we are describing the purpose, and I'm also going to take notes. And anybody who's feel like they want to take notes as well, you're welcome to do that. But we're going to have the notes so that everybody in the community who cannot join the call can have an idea of what's been talked about. This video will be published and probably linked to the Apache Zeppelin website. And the meeting agenda is going to be very quick, 30 minutes. So we're going to have an intro. If there's a demo, we're going to have a demo as well. Not for this meeting, but moving on, we're going to have a feature-related demo. Any kind of a project-related updates, we're going to talk about those. It'd be nice to have some kind of dashboard to keep with the development type of activities as well. So that might be coming soon. Also announcements at the end. So altogether, we're talking about 30 minutes. We're totally flexible. So if any folks have different ideas and want to change the format, etc., you're more than free to suggest what we should do here. And there's a little bit of requirements and guidelines on what the demo should be and how we do them, etc. So this is basically what we're going to start with, and then we are going to modify it and make it better as time goes on. Any questions so far? Comments, questions? We're good? All right.
I have a couple of questions. Can I?
Moon, you're really quiet.
Can you maybe
Can everyone hear Moon? Moon, scream.
Okay. Can you hear me
Much
now?
better. Whatever you just did, fixed it. So,
Okay.
all right. So I'm gonna pass ball to Moon. Moon.
Okay. I actually have a question about the meeting, community meeting itself. So, is it going to be because to make sure I understood it correctly, so is it going to be a monthly meeting, the meeting like we have right now?
Correct. So because this is very new to the community, I want to start kind of slow. We have monthly meeting. And then as we grow as a community, as we grow and be more active, we can introduce maybe bi-weekly meetings. For example, if we do want to go with a subject type of architecture, we can start having a community meetings more frequently. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then can also, let me actually try to share my screen. I'm having a hard time controlling this software, but let me actually try select. I'm sorry. Can you see my screen?
It's very small. Can you blow it up?
Right. I'm trying to make it big, and you can see it now better, right?
Yes.
I actually can't. I can't see it. May, what if you stop sharing? Or did you?
I did stop sharing, I believe.
Okay, are you on the, is this what you're showing, Moon?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, sorry. Yep, it looks like we're fine.
Yeah, I actually have a suggestion. So there are a lot of different open source community doing this similar community meeting. This is one open source project I know, which is Scaffold project in Google, from Google. And they have their GitHub repository and in their README there is a community section, and they said there is a bi-weekly Scaffold user meetings for 30 minutes. Here how you can find your agenda. So do you think it's a good idea to put the similar announcement on our GitHub repository README file or on the Zeppelin website?
Absolutely. Absolutely. So when I did this, I kind of have it in mind that this is going to be on GitHub and everything is going to be in shared environment, whether on Google and linked from Apache Zeppelin website as well. So right now, the only thing is that we haven't really, have a consent on where things are supposed to be yet. So I just want to make sure that the community is okay with the meeting, the format, etc. before we starting putting like the meeting notes, the videos, everything else in a common shared area, and then we'll have GitHub manage all of this stuff. Would that be okay?
Yeah. What do you think, Felix?
The links?
I mean, Felix, do you have any other idea?
No, I think this sounds like a good idea to start with.
Okay.
Do you want to add anything else, Moon?
No, for now, I think, yeah, I also think it's a good, great start.
Cool. All right. So if everybody's okay with it, no questions, I'll give it to Moon. You want to start talking about community activities and what we're doing with releases, etc.?
Yeah, I actually have a community activity numbers that I track every 3 months. Maybe this time maybe next time I can share, or if anyone wants, I can share this time. I've been tracking those numbers for last 1.5 years. So I can if you want, I can share, but I'm not sure it's a good time to here right now, but let me bring this data. But while I'm bringing this data, we can also discuss talk about a little bit of the release. I think it's I think it's a good subject, but it's a little high level to discuss about the release at the moment because of we have I also have a question that, for example, to me, I like to have a 0.9.0 release as soon as possible. But to do that, what do we need? That's also a question to me. What we need to do before we start a 0.9.0 release. So those are, I think, an open question. And Zeppelin community did a great job in my opinion, but in terms of release, Zeppelin community didn't make a lot of frequent release, I think. So is this something we want to change? I mean, to make a more frequent release, or is it good as is? So they are some topics I think we can throw. Meanwhile, okay, yeah. So does anyone have any idea on the release, or any expectations, or any requests to the release?
Can I speak a little bit?
Yes, sure.
Yeah, my name is Fred. I'm working at Twitter. So my question, or maybe my concern is like, I still prefer keep as it is right now, because our team did I think our team did a bunch of custom fix to the current Zeppelin. But if we wanted to increase the frequency or release, we will feeling some challenge to catch up. You know what I mean? Because right now my work plan is always doing the cherry pick to the latest latest fix. But if you increase the frequency, I'm afraid that we cannot follow up, and also creating a lot of work in our side. That's only my concern. So what do you think?
Oh, that's I think a good feedback, interesting feedback. So you think actually more frequent release will make it harder to catch up the project?
Yeah, because we already used to choose the speed on the community side, and our source code is actually following the snapshot version.
Yeah.
And every time we're checking the latest fix of the Apache Zeppelin side, and we're gonna to giving more release in future. So we're gonna to losing some features, but this is only for one customer's comments or feedback to this thing.
I think I guess one of the reasons it's hard to catch up
Right.
the Apache source tree is because of when there is some differences or some customization on your own source tree. Is it correct?
Yeah.
So will there be actually a way to minimize those differences between Apache release and your source tree?
Say that again.
So will there be any way, or do you think it's possible to minimize the differences between Apache source tree and your source tree?
I don't have idea right now, but the thing is, for other teams who follow up as the open source tools, they will have some standard merge process. But currently in my team, we don't have that process now. So, right. So, but I think we can discuss this thing, but this is only one comments in our side. it doesn't mean like everyone needed to follow this one, right?
Yeah, but I think it's great feedback. I think we Zeppelin community will need to aware of how, no matter how frequently release version, I think the community needs to aware of for example, backward compatibility, or how user can adapt its latest version when they were using the previous version. So I think it's important topic.
Yeah, that's a great
Also,
point. Just my 2 cents here. I think as a community, we can come up with a way to make versions compatible. There are a project that is following the semantic versioning scheme, basically major version, minor version, what should be compatible, and I think we can manage the releases like that to make sure there's enough compatibility between like different releases we're working on.
yeah. It also seems like I was poking around, and it seems like 090 has tickets associated with it that have been done for a very long time, right? It seems like that's been baking for a very long time. I mean, sometimes I almost think that I'd love to see more releases faster. I know a lot of the features got backported, but I think a bunch that there definitely seems some that, it's like, when is 090 going to come out? That was just a thought or a comment.
Yeah, Mei, if you are saying something, you are on mute.
Sorry. So Moon, I just have a question for you. Do you think like what we were thinking about for Zeppelin 2.0, as far as we can start having sub projects and break the platform into a more like a containerized sub projects in some ways? Do you think that might solve some of these problems?
Actually, what May just asked, the question from May is something I will need to explain some context around that question. So this is just a suggestion, just my idea, which we don't have a community consensus at the moment. But I hope it become a good idea we develop together. The basic idea is Zeppelin right now. Our latest release is 0.8, and we will upcoming releases will be 0.9, and I think we will have a 0.8 and we will have a 0.9 with some new cool features, but as we have a 0.9 stabilized, and then I would suggest how about we rename it 0.9 stable version of 0.9 as a 1.0. So basically, we will have a 0.8, 0.1, 0.8, 0.2 as a maintenance release, and we will have a 0.9 and 0.91, 0.92, 0.93. I don't know how many maintenance releases we will need to have, but once it's been stabilized enough, then we can call it, now it's 1.0. And then we have a stable 1.0, which is GA, GA product. And then because we have a stable 1.0 product version, and then we can discuss something, some bigger change on the future version for the next version. And I'm thinking not only of features on the Zeppelin, newer features on the Zeppelin for future version 2.0, for example, but also not only of features but also a new project structure. Because of a current project structure, it's a great community, great project. But one thing I would be, I think it will be better is if, let's say, we have a good improvement on the front end side. Let's say I made a really good improvement on the front end side, but I cannot release front end side only. I need to wait for entire framework, entire project that includes backend side and each interpreter. So we release front end and backend and interpreter all together. That means one component, even though one component have a significant improvement or changes, we need to wait the other components to be ready and to be released. Is it? I'm not sure it makes sense. So in 2.0, I would how about if we split project into the smaller pieces, like a front-end project and the back-end project, and each interpreter may have their own project, and they can have their own separate release schedule. So once, let's say, Spark have upgraded its version to Spark 2.5, for example, or 3.0, and Zeppelin Spark interpreter have an update to support a new version of Spark, and then Zeppelin don't need to wait for other component, but Spark interpreter can release its next version immediately. So that was one of my just very rough idea I would like to bring. But what do you guys think? I'm not sure any other Apache projects do. Is there any other Apache projects do the similar? But I just like to hear some opinion about this, and this idea and possible concern if you guys have.
I feel much more comfortable to this way.
So Fred likes it.
Yeah, like I think the biggest benefits is like whenever I merge some small projects to my product or projects, I will expect some feelings on specific area, right? So it's not like I pull in the code, I don't know where it goes wrong. So this can help us to reduce some maintenance work for the service.
Okay, cool. All right, Felix, do you have any comments or feedback?
Yeah, it is a little tricky with this. I think there are pros and cons of doing this approach. If you separate part of it into a different project, then it could be more work with the community, I guess. Yeah, I can see, I think kind of picking up more speed and having better community contribution and collaboration, it's probably more important though. So we can definitely see how well that would help.
Yeah, I think that's a very valid point, is that the whole idea of this, I think what Moon is saying is, break the monolithic project down to smaller pieces so that it makes it more flexible, more pluggable, and more extendable, right? So that's going to encourage folks to actually contribute more, because it's the pluggability, the extendability, and flexibility, they're there, right? So that's kind of the idea of these things, I guess.
Yeah, so yeah, this is just a very rough idea, but we have enough, I think we have enough time to discuss and develop this idea until we actually reach the 1.0 of the current project. So I think we can move this discussion into the mailing list, and we can have a discussion there, I think.
Yeah, that sounds good. And I can ping Jeff later today and get his opinion on it as well. Yeah, he couldn't make it today. So I think we're at 6:30 or 3:30 for you folks right there. Is there anything else that we want to talk about moving forward, or are we good for the kickoff?
Share a little bit some requests from our internal management level people. So so the thing is, our company very restricted on the data privacy things, and we're going to moving this forward to giving more control on the data privacy access things. Like I think you might heard of like GDPR things as well. I'm not sure whether any companies or users who read this request to Zeppelin community. For example, like data retention things on Zeppelin program. So would that be okay if you putting this thing on the roadmap? So do you have any ideas about this thing in the community side?
I think we yeah, let me share in this way. So
Yeah.
in terms of code, in code level, there are a couple of security report. For example, we are having in a private channel. So a community is always addressing security on the Zeppelin code basis.
Mm-hmm.
But also, like you said, there are more. I think there can be more than just a code level that we can support the security. So those are, I think, is something. Although Zeppelin community have received some security vulnerability report in the private channel, we didn't. I think we didn't receive a lot of security requirement in general, not only a code level, but also, for example, policy or legal point of view. So I think if those requirements can be, if you can provide some, your experience and your requirement to the community, that will be really, really valuable, I think.
Okay. Yeah. The thing is that we are going to put some custom things on the Zeppelin program to remove the data for the users who has in the paragraph from the database. So what I heard, like there's some requirements from the GDPR. So a lot of company needed to update this thing to their BI tool, whatever the data tool things, and I think it's critical to all the social company in United States. So if you, I mean, yeah, let me put this thing to the Zeppelin Jira, see if we can have more feedbacks or comments to this feature or request.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you.
Sure.